What is up, guys? Misha here from Beyond the Huddle, and welcome to this week's altcoin forecast. And as always, before we get into the altcoins, we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at what has happened on BTC ever since Raul's video was posted yesterday. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. Okay, so we are doing the BTC recap right now. We're looking at the price of Bitcoin, and as you guys can see, the SMI was bullish. The COT stayed bullish, right? The SMI is showing accumulation, COTs with the asset managers staying bullish. And also we have now gone back above the weekly level. What does that tell us? That tells us that we are short-term bullish, but we are still below the monthly level. That means that we are monthly bearish, okay? So I'm still expecting higher prices based on the SMI, based on the fact that we are above this the previous weekly level. And then now what we're looking for is how is price going to react at these two levels. I want to see this area and then this level, and then obviously going back into the weekly level right here. So this level right here is a 3-day supply. So what we could end up seeing, because we're below the monthly level, is swing high, swing low, retracement, and then move to the downside. Now that's what could happen. You see, this is right inside the premium. Or what could also happen is if we keep seeing these bullish signs, we could end up breaking these two levels and then finally switch the monthly levels and then start moving towards a new all-time high. But at the moment, short-term bullish, monthly bearish, and we're trying to see how price is going to react at these levels. Now, if we're assuming that BTC is going to keep going higher, at least up towards these levels, then now we have to figure out, should we be in on BTC or should we be in on altcoins? And that's what we're going to be looking at in the next section. All right, guys, right now we are looking at the total market cap. And just like Bitcoin, we are seeing some movement on the total market cap. We are above the weekly open, but we're still below the monthly open. That's on a weekly time frame. If we look at it from a yearly candle perspective, because the year is about to close, you guys can see that we're definitely bullish. On a quarterly, we are about to close bullish, but with a big wick to the upside. From a monthly perspective, we had a move down into what was the quarterly open, what is also this weekly demand right here, and now we're starting to see a bounce off of this weekly demand. Now, how are things looking on the lower time frame, especially the daily? Right now, we are starting to see the market starting to make higher lows here, and the key area that's going to be important for me is this premium area right here, guys. So from this swing high down to this swing low, I'll pull the fibs for you guys to be able to see this. From swing high to swing low, this premium area is going to be very, very important. And that's going to be the area that's going to decide, are we going to make a new leg to the upside, or are we going to roll over to the downside? And I think this is going to be heavily correlated to how Bitcoin reacts to the 3-day supply that I showed you guys, and also the monthly level. So that's what I'm seeing on this right here. But at the moment, we're definitely short-term bullish. We're moving to the upside, and then we want to see what happens once we reach this area right there. So now let's go ahead and take a look at how the altcoins are performing against Bitcoin. So looking at the altcoins against Bitcoin, this is how our alt index, again, this is just the inverse of the Bitcoin dominance. It's just easy to understand it. Now looking at it on the quarterly, still bullish. We had a big wick to the downside, then we rejected, moved to the upside. Same things happening on the monthly. We had the monthly demand down here, and now going down into the weekly, we are seeing this week where we have prices going back below the weekly open. But looking at it on a daily time frame, we have this key level right here, guys. This is a daily demand right here. It lines up with my daily demand, which is also right above the monthly open right here, and that's going to be a level that we're going to be paying very close attention to. And if we drop it down into the 4-hour, we can see the 4-hour demand right here. So the key is going to be from this 4-hour demand right here. We want to see if we're able to move back up and go back above the daily open and the weekly open. So you guys can see the daily open all the way up here, and then we have the weekly open up here as well. So those are the two levels that we want to go back above, and we want to use this 4-hour demand right here as the launching pad to be able to go back above that. Because if not, what's going to happen here is we're going to keep doing premium sell, and this could end up being another premium sell and then go back down. So we don't want to see that 4-hour premium hold. So let's draw out this 4-hour premium right here. So we want to break above that, and then we want to continue the move to the upside. So if we're unable to do that, then we're probably going to reject and come all the way down into this blue box right here, which is our lines up with our daily demand right here. So that's what I'm seeing on here. So kind of a mixed bag for altcoins right now. Some of them might outperform, most of them are not, and we can see it through this daily candle right here. So with that said, guys, I will be careful on altcoins at the moment. I am not seeing anything telling me that all should be outperforming Bitcoin at the moment. Again, if we use this area, as I mentioned, if we're able to use this area of support and start to break back above higher, then absolutely, then we would have alts back to outperforming Bitcoin just like they were doing last week. So again, this could end up being the bottom side wick of this week. So we'll have to take a look at that and see if we can go back above this weekly open. So with that said, now let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum, guys. All right, guys, we are now looking at Ethereum BTC. And if you guys saw last week's video, we were talking about how we wanted to see prices bounce off of this daily demand right here. And that's exactly what happened. Then we had a move higher. Now, I didn't mention this level right here, but that was an important level to be paying attention to. That was our daily supply right there. And as you guys can see, we hit that, and then now we are coming back down. Now, as we're coming back down here, the level that we want to pay attention to, because we're below the weekly open, but we are above the monthly open. So we want this to end up being a retracement down into this daily demand right here. And if we drop it down into a 4-hour time frame, you guys can see it's also a 4-hour demand here. Not that I'm really focused on this 4-hour demand, but it does line up with the daily demand right here. So this is an area that we'd want to see hold for the next move higher, because right now we are below not only the weekly open, but we are also below the daily open. And you guys can see how that lines up with what we saw on the altcoin index, because the altcoin index was below its weekly and its daily open. And you can see that against Bitcoin, Ethereum is also below its daily and weekly open, while Bitcoin is actually above its daily open and also above its weekly open. So clearly Bitcoin is outperforming alts at the moment. And in order for alts to go back to outperforming Bitcoin, we're going to need the alt index to go back above the daily and weekly open. And it's going to have to hold that 4-hour demand that I mentioned in the previous segment. But for Ethereum BTC, this is what we're looking at. And obviously, once we find a reversal here, first target weekly open, and then we want to see it break this daily supply and then reach our next target right here, which is at 0.08928. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing for ETHBTC. Obviously, on the quarter overall, this is completely outperformed BTC. Same thing on the yearly. And if we go down into the monthly, we are hanging around. We're seeing a doji right here on the monthly. So we have outperformed BTC by a little bit, but right now things are starting to look a little bit different. So again, this has to be our reversal area for us to be able to see another leg to the upside. So let's go ahead and take a look at actual Ethereum USD. Okay, guys, we are now looking at ETHUSD, and similar to Bitcoin, it is actually above its weekly open. But if you guys remember from last week, I was talking about this level right here as a level that we needed to see hold after we had dipped into this demand right here on the spike. We were using this level as support for a pretty long period of time right here. And then we mentioned how once price started to go higher, we had this 8-hour supply right here that we marked out, and we said that we wanted to see that get broken, but that did not happen. We saw price come up, use this area as resistance, and then try to come back down, and now we are stuck within a range. So we're stuck within the range of this 8-hour supply and this 4-hour demand right here. That's the range that we're stuck in, but we are above the weekly and the daily open. So if we're able to go back above this area that I highlighted with this blue strip right here and then use that as support, then we would probably be able to go back up and challenge this daily supply that we used to form this phase 3 sell right here. You guys remember how we hit this? That was one of our target. That was target number 1 with that daily supply. We had a return to a premium phase 3 sell, and then we had another premium here, phase 3 sell. So what we want to see is we want to see this go back above this level, use it as support, and then crush this premium right here. So the premium that we have here with this daily supply right there, we want to see that get broken, and then we'll be able to go on our merry way to our target number 2, which is still up there. So but right now we are in a consolidation between these two important level, 8-hour supply right here, and then we have an 8-hour demand. If we go down, sorry, this is this was the 8-hour supply, and then we have this 8-hour candle right here. We can drop it down to 4-hour and then see it as a 4-hour demand right here. We're consolidating. So we definitely don't want to go back below the weekly and daily open. If we do, then we're very likely going to see this level stay as resistance and then a rollover to the downside, probably back into this zone right here. But That's pretty much what I'm seeing on Ethereum USD. Again, everything is dependent on BTC. If BTC is going to reject at its premium, then we're very likely going to see ETH reject at its premium as well. So we'll have to keep that in mind, and also what the altcoin index is doing. We got to keep that one in mind as well, because if the altcoin index is telling us that alts are not going to outperform, as we're already seeing ETHBTC telling us it's not outperforming BTC, then you might as well be on BTC and not on Ethereum. So with that said, guys, let's go ahead and look at our second alt, which is going to be ZEC. Okay, guys, we are now looking at ZECBTC, and as we had mentioned last week, actually this thing played out perfectly from what we mentioned last week. We used this 3-day demand, which we were talking about right here. You guys can see that was the open. Let's get rid of this big box. We don't need that big of a box, because we used the open perfectly right here as support. And then at the time, what we wanted to see this go above the weekly open at the time, which I will mark that out so we can see where that weekly open was right here. So we wanted to see prices go back above the weekly open at the time, which they were unable to do. You guys can see we wicked through it, wicked through, and we were unable to close back above that level. Now what we want to see is, as we're dropping down here, let's get rid of this previous weekly open. This is almost the same weekly open as last week right here, because if we look at the weekly candle, you guys can see it was pretty much a doji right here. So right now, today, what we're looking at is we're below the weekly open. We still respected that 3-day demand, and then now we're retracing. And where are we retracing into? Well, very similar to the altcoin index, we're retracing into a 4-hour demand. So this is the area that we need to use as a launch pad to go back above the daily open and then the weekly open, because if not, what we're going to end up seeing is the same thing that we saw here: swing high, swing low, phase 3 sell, swing high, swing low, phase 3 sell. And where does the premium lie? Well, it lies exactly where we're seeing this daily open right here. So if that were to hold right here, then we're probably going to see a rollover, in which case we are going to go way deeper into this 3-day demand. If not, then we're going to start going higher, and once we start going higher, the levels to pay attention to are going to be this area right here, this blue box right here, and then obviously the monthly open, which if you look at it is also a daily supply. So those are going to be the 2 levels that I'm going to be paying attention to if we're able to use this 4-hour demand as a launch pad, which when we look at it, guys, this 4-hour demand is also what? It's also a daily demand right here. So this entire area, if we're able to use it as a launch pad to go back above the weekly open, then we probably use that as support, and then we would see prices reach for this area right here and then potentially challenge the monthly open. But again, everything is dependent on the altcoin index and what BTC is doing. If BTC is not looking right, then we're probably going to reject this area. But if it is looking right, then we might be able to break through that and then go on our merry way to the upside. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Hopefully you guys got some value from this. If you did, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And with that said, I will see you all in the next video. Peace.